You're listening to a Skewed Orbit original podcast.
Time, weather, and highways.
We interrupt this, or what is it? There's been an interruption, or what happened? Anyway, you guys, I was just recording. I was on a roll, and everything went blank. It just went dark. I don't know what that was. And I was going to start over, but I'm like, you know what? This whole episode is about authenticity, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to keep going. Here's the funny thing about authenticity is there's not a defined ideal of what that means. Each of us, I think most people do believe that they're being authentic to themselves. And the only thing that I can do is take somebody at their behavior. And because I've been thinking about this a lot, especially also higher path, there are going to be less people that understand you, that you understand, that you can work with, communicate with, right? All of these things. And so especially the more that we start to become our authentic self, it feels as though more people are like either testing it or we begin to know how kind of like fake everything is. I'm using the word fake loosely. I'm also going to close my eyes because I feel like there's like a lot of stuff that wants to come through, and so I need to just kind of like focus on it for a second. Here's the thing. When you begin to walk in something that feels authentic to you, everything is going to be able to change. It's going to continue to change. Here's the other thing. Whether you've been on this for a long time, like this journey for a long time or not, things are going to continue to change for you as your authenticity changes within yourself, right? Here's the reason why I don't like that word. I don't like the word authenticity. I don't like the word manifestation. Most of these kind of self-help, self-empowerment, like even the term self-empowerment has been like commandeered by like social media coaches, and I'm just like, my eyes are bleeding. You know what I mean? And I think it's really like, what is true for you? And knowing that that's always going to change. And sometimes it's really difficult for us to identify when it has to change for us. And there is this sense of like unapologetic. Like we have to get to a place where we are so unapologetic. Like I was thinking about this recently. I was in sort of like an engagement of some sort. And in my mind, I was like, I should already, like, this is not for me. This is not for me. My body's giving me all this anxiety. I'm going through all this stuff. And it's like, what is it about me? Like, why did I not feel powerful enough to just go, hey, I love this. I'm so like, this is awesome. We got to do this. I actually don't think this is for me. Like that's how deeply rooted so much of this, like be a good girl, like let people like you. People need to like you. Like shit runs deep. And I share that because I know if I feel that way, like, fuck, we all feel that way. I know we all feel that way. It's that or people that are so narcissistic. They're like, well, of course everybody fucking loves me. What are you kidding? Like there's really only like one of two camps. And then there's a few of us that manage to find, again, going on this idea of like paths. There are those of us that find a way like onto that path where we're like, no, it's okay to stay in this place of like, again, self-empowerment. And I just feel like for so many of us and where we're going, even going back to from the episode with Mystic Rain, right? Where it was like, oh, queens sit on thrones and, all of these things. And I really take issue a lot of the time. Also, if you haven't caught up, this episode is just me ranting and sharing with you what's, no pun intended, the most authentic to me right now. Okay, so buckle up. Here we go. That this idea where it's like rest and this and that, and you have to, where it was like so beautiful. She was like, well, why does your morning routine have to be that way? And I'm like, because I have children. Like, I understand what she's offering me, right? Of like, you get to choose and all these things. And whether you have kids or not, all of us have that thing where it's like, well, why don't you just do that thing? And, and if you're like, because I have $200,000 worth of student debt, I can't just go and do this thing because I want to, right? We all have obstacles, and those obstacles are constantly changing. They're ever evolving, right? That's why we have these different seasons of life. And so for me, that sense of empowerment, that sense of authenticity, that is just the physical layer of what your intuition is. That's kind of that true embodiment. Because my life is fast. It just is. I make our family intentions. It's like on our, of course she does. There I have like a big white magnet that goes, it's like a dry erase that's on the side of our refrigerator, and every month while I'm recording this is March 1st today. And like I'm writing on there, like, this month we are, and then it's like all the things we're celebrating and the things that we're doing and the things we're moving through. And I'm like, I'm taping a comedy special. My husband is having fairly non-invasive surgery, but has a month recovery. My mom and her husband are coming to stay with us for 10 days. Then my entire extended family is coming to celebrate my son and my nephew's first birthdays. Okay. That's at the end of the month. What else do we have? We have 3 other birthdays. Like, I'm like, oh, this is just 30 days. This is just what we're going to do for 30 days. Right. Sure. We could go, well, just slow down or like do less or this. Life happens. So stay with me here. When I talk about that, I'm sharing this because for those of you, I think that's why so many people get deterred from kind of this self-help or self-empowerment, all this stuff. Cause we're like, yeah, that's really cute that you made a video of you and like your 2-year-old canning peaches with like the perfect sunlight leak that comes through your kitchen. And you're just telling everybody how to live slow. It's like, yeah, that's fucking beautiful. But so was the movie Bambi. You know what I mean? Like not everybody gets to live that way where they're going to can peaches and just hashtag slow living. But we do all have the ability, again, this goes back to last episode, we do all have the ability, we do all have the choice to find within that pace, how do we want to live? So tying this back into that idea of authenticity, tying that back into this idea of your intuition, had in that moment when I was engaging with that person and I'm like, I don't think this is for me. Had I been willing to, what's funny is I was going to say to be uncomfortable, but I actually wouldn't be uncomfortable to say, thank you, no, thank you. I'm too caught up in like, oh, or how are they going to feel? Or I don't want them to, or oh, what if then they say something bad about me? And then, what? So now you're going to say yes to a bunch of shit that you don't have the energy to do, nor are you that psyched to do because you don't want to make somebody else uncomfortable? Let somebody else be uncomfortable. Because here's the thing, even when you think that you're doing everything, that, again, everybody knows this, if that makes you a good girl, guess who feels like shit? You. So that is actually what your quote unquote authenticity is there for. That is what's building that self-empowerment. And what that does, because we're always like, what does power mean? We all just imagine like Beyonce, and we're like, that's it. And it's like, sure, that's a version of it. But to me, power is now inner peace. That's what it means. I said no to things, even though they were offered to me, and I chose my inner peace instead. Because guess what that does? When I am not anxious, when I have used my authenticity, when I have used my authenticity, when I have trusted my intuition, and I have done the things that are in my highest rather than what makes people like me, maybe, right? Then I have energy. Then I have enough energy to tape a comedy special, have family come in town, then have other family come in town, then help my husband through a surgery. Like, there's energy for that. There's 30 days. We can get that done. No problem. I have the energy to do that. You know what I don't have the energy to do anymore? Say yes to shit that I don't want to do. I just don't want to do it. And then I don't have to apologize to everybody in the text thread of why I don't want to go. And, oh, brunch would be fun. But no, that doesn't sound fun to me. It doesn't sound fun to me. And so that's so much of this like key of authenticity, that the more that we do that, we get more comfortable in doing it. Everything is a practice. Everything is a practice. I was thinking about this today. I popped into Quick Trip for something, I don't know, a good time. And I look over. Do y'all know how many people are making energy drinks? Too many people. Too many energy drinks. Too many energy drinks. Oh my gosh, so many energy drinks. We are making all of the energy. And yet everybody is still this exhausted? I don't think this is about the energy drink. You know what I mean? I mean, there was I took a video of it because I was like, I need to slow down for a second and just admire the work that is being done here. Okay. And yet we're all still running around like it shouldn't take that much. I shouldn't get 7 hours of sleep every night and eat pretty well, move my body and get water and feel this exhausted. So that was the other thing. Like, I just have really been thinking about all this where I'm like, what is the thing that exhausts me? Because I love what I do. I love what I do. I spent 6 years creating a life to be able to carve out and do the things that I love to do. Right? I love the people I work with. I feel supported. I feel engaged, excited. I love my kids. Yeah, it's a lot of work having littles, but like we can recover, So anyway, I'm not going to name all the things of like, listen how much I love my life. But the point being where I'm sure right now, whether you're listening to this in your car or you're at the gym or, you're reorganizing your kitchen cabinets, whatever it is, there are probably a lot of aspects of your life potentially that like you do really love. And you probably also are like, why do I feel so tired all of the time? I feel like my head is falling off, right? We all know that song. And if I had to guess, a lot of it is because you're still taking on what everybody else thinks and wants and believes around you. And I mean, I would talk about, sure, where I'm always like, I know that's not everybody, but I'm guessing if you're listening to this podcast, it's not because you struggle with like being too into yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you found yourself here, it's because you're empathic, right? To some degree, you're a seeker of some degree, right? And we take that on. Like I was even thinking about that when I was at my parents' house over the weekend. And then I'm like kind of tiptoeing around. Oh, I want to make sure this and that. I'm like, then why? They already said it's fine. You're the one who's now suffering. It's fine. Believe them. They said that. Believe them. Because there still is this part of me that like holds on to like, oh, but what if it's not? And then they're going to get resentful. And it's like, that shit's done, dog. It's old. It's not here. Like I was thinking about that. I was like looking through my phone yesterday. Was my husband's birthday. Shout out Alex Gatlin. He's a leap year baby. He had an actual birthday. So, you're digging through the archive to find pictures to be like, oh, we love each other. Look how much we've overcome. Right. You know the story. And all of these photos of like all of these different phases of my life. And it was this realization where it's like, you're not there anymore. Like how many years past the shit do you have to go until you trust you are not that person anymore? You are not there. You are not responsible for them. You are not responsible for their feelings. That's the other thing. Like I challenge you actually. Like I bet you even if I was like, go out of your way and just not give a shit about the way other people feel, you wouldn't even be able to fucking do it. Okay? So that's the thing. It's like for those of us that are spending so much energy caring about the way that everybody else is going to feel, it's like, dude, you're getting in your own way. You're getting in your own way. Nobody else is caring that much. And even it's like, then I go on to it like from, a spiritual level where it's like, it's not our job to make other people comfortable. Fucking period. Even the people that we love the most, like I love my husband and my kids more than anything. And my job is to show up and make sure I support them so that they can make the best choices for themselves to create their own self-comfortability for sure. But it's still not my job. Even for my children, it's not my job. I mean, obviously I know they're little right now. Let's project them as 18 years old or whatever, right? It's not my job to make them comfortable, to sacrifice myself. And so that's why it just cracks me up because all the time I'm like, oh, look how authentic I am. And oh, I'm doing this stuff. And oh, I'm on this journey. I'm like, you know what I should do is listen to my own fucking podcast and maybe take some of my own advice. Okay? Unsolicited, take some, LaForce. And I just shared this because I know so many people, whether you're listening to this right now, and please hear me when I say this. This is for you. This is for you. This is for you. That whether you are new on this journey and you've just awoken or whatever language you're using, right? That you're just like, all right, yes, I want more. I want whatever that is. Or you like me, you've done this a couple times, or maybe you're even, ahead of me on this journey and you're like, okay, here I am again. And you found yourself in this place where we need you and we need you well and we need all of you. And so many of us are so scared, and I think it's even more so for women, for fucking sure, How many of us are like, well, oh, I don't want somebody to not like me, or, oh, this or that. And, and going back to what Mystic Grain was offering me, where it was like, knowing that I see what it is that I'm building and what I want, like, yeah, you're going to get in those situations where like people aren't going to like you. You're going to have to let somebody go. You're going to have to this, you're going to have to that. People aren't going to get it. And it's like, be okay with being the villain in somebody else's story. Be okay with that. Get used to it. Because again, this idea of authenticity, right? Going back to JLo, I watched that and I was like, this is fucking cute that you think this was your breaking point. Okay. But also, that woman put 30 million of her own money into something that nobody else believed in. And she's like, I'm going to make this thing, whether anybody supports me or not. This is the thing I need to make. That's fucking authentic. I can't argue with that. So no matter what the choices are that you're making in service of yourself, there's always going to be other people that don't get it, that they're not on that level, that it's not real for them, or, oh, I can't believe that they did that, right? I talk about this all the time, that one of the times I was in a friendship relationship with somebody and we were supposed to go to London together for their birthday. It's right when I started dating Alex. And he was like, you don't have any money to go to London. He's saying that very lovingly, but yeah, I was broke. I didn't have any. And my friend I was supposed to go with is very well accomplished in corporate. They had money to go to London. I did not, for sure, and should not have been putting it on a credit card. And I was so grateful for that insight from him. And I sat down long enough with myself and I was like, yeah, it's time for me to start making new choices. It's time for me to start making choices that are in service of myself rather than laying myself on hot coals so other people don't burn their feet. Fuck that. We don't do that anymore. It's not our job to burn ourselves up for other people. It's not our job. And what happened? Called my friend. Hey, I want you to hear me. I'm really sorry I can't go. Like, I really need to start taking better care of myself. And here's what I'm going to do. You know what they did? They didn't listen to a single thing I said. And they're like, I can't believe that you would do this to me. This is my birthday. We were supposed to do this together. I can't even believe that you would do that. And then you know what they did? Then beyond that, they had the audacity. They went to all my friends and said that I left them hanging because I wanted to spend Thanksgiving with my boyfriend. That was the story they went and told everybody else. And you can feel that anger in my body even as I reshare that story because I was so fucking pissed. How dare you? How dare you that I come out and I'm authentic and I share with you what I'm going through and that I want to do something different for my life. And all you heard was, I don't even know, nothing that I said, right? And I don't know why, but that story popped into my head today. And I was like, that is so true of so many things that, I mean, and that was the start where I was like, I think this friendship is done, but I don't want you to like think I'm still in that situation with somebody. But the point being where you don't get to choose how other people see your authenticity. You don't, that's the thing. I think a lot of us think like self-empowerment is this thing where it's like, oh, everybody is going to champion us. That everybody's going to see us making these moves in service of ourselves and building cool things and stepping out and being artistic and being ourselves and loving our bodies no matter what other people think. And that everybody else is going to go, oh, we love it. Don't wait for the fanfare. It's a fucking fairy tale. It doesn't exist. It's not real. Rachel LaForce, that one was mostly for me, but also for you. It's not real. And that's what happens. And so then again, there's so many things that are tied into this that so many of us, it's hard for us to choose ourselves over and over and over again because it is such a fucking feat for a lot of us. It's hard. It's hard to be authentic. It's hard to walk alone, period. Not as many people on that trail. It's hard. It's lonely. But you got a lot of fucking energy. You know what I mean? You're climbing up to the top of the mountain. You don't need all those energy drinks at Quick Trip. I mean, that's the trade-off. The trade-off for fully being authentic and being of service and being in service to yourself is having the energy, the vitality, the creative prowess to attack, attract, and curate the life that you want to live, to create the things that you want to create. and whatever iteration that means to you. That's the gift. That's what you get. You know, it's like, I think it was Nikki Novo. You guys know I love her. If you don't know her, go to nikkinovo.com. You're welcome. And I caught a snippet of her podcast recently, and she said that of like, the more you live your light, she was much more eloquent. Okay. The more you live your life in the light, the more you see the devil. And I don't literally mean, Satan himself, but meaning like, yeah, the more that you choose in service of yourself, the more all of those, just that nastiness is going to reveal itself. And you have to be okay that it exists. It's like, that is the one thing from, kind of major Hollywood PR, which is very toxic. But the one thing that's really true is like when they're like, we don't make a statement, right? When it's everyone's like, well, did that happen? Did that happen? It's like, we don't make a statement because it's going to blow over and they're going to talk about something else. We don't make a statement. And it's the same fucking thing. Great. You want to think that I canceled with you because I just want to spend Thanksgiving with my boyfriend? Dude, fuck off. Fine. That's what you think. Great. I don't make a statement. I don't make a statement. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I would love for everybody to see my work and be like, wow, she's really doing something. I would love that. I would love it. I really would not mind it. Okay. It's like, I've chosen to put myself out in the public eye and in a variety of ways, not even just one way. Okay. I got a podcast. I do live stand up. I've got like there are multiple ways to see me. But I also want to live a life where at the end of the day, if it's me out there doing it for 3 people, it's like, I'm doing what I fucking love. And these 3 people love it too. And the energy that you have back, I mean, literally in your physical body, the way that it changes, the way that you move through the world. And I think that's kind of this like Instagram, Mel Robbins, like, Tony Robbins, let's just keep naming Robbins, Tim Robbins, all of these things that are projected to us is it's like, well, if you live this certain way, that like almost like that's like you get something. And so then so many people get on this path thinking that it's like, oh, well, now I set boundaries and like now people, and it's like, again, stop. We all are doing something almost like thinking then we're going to get something else. It's like, that's what then happens where there's no sense of true fulfillment because it's you the whole time. That's it. And also trusting that it's like this sense of fulfillment is also going to be different every day of what lights you up and what's available to you and just like all of these things. So really it's like, I think again, that's why so many of things within this, I guess, as I would define it, of choosing to live in your highest expression just drives me batshit because it's like, it's still commodified and it still has to look pretty and it still has to be this thing. And there are those moments, of course. But when we create a life thinking that that's what we're chasing, no wonder we all feel unfulfilled because the dissonance between ourselves and what culture and society is telling us that everything is all the time, no wonder we all feel disconnected and sad and alone because we're like, oh, well, certainly I must be the odd man out and everybody else must have it figured out. Nobody else has it figured out. Okay. Nobody. And everybody else's idea of truth is different. And as soon as we can get comfortable and okay with that, we can begin to take people in a new way. Like I was able to take in, again, going to JLo, shout out. I mean, what just a tool for learning for myself. Who knew? But like I was able to take in what she was offering me of like, oh, isn't that interesting? Like that's interesting that like where she's at and what she's going through, like to her, this is like her opus. Like she is really doing it, right? And so we can begin to see people in a different way because we're holding everybody to this accountability that we're not even doing ourselves. And then we're, raking ourselves over coals for people who can't even see us. And then we're comparing ourselves to what culture says we are. Yet most people, if you talk to them, it's like everybody feels a little anxious. Everybody feels a little isolated. Everybody's a little bit lonely. And I don't mean for this, the ending of this, we're about to wrap this up, to feel like doom and gloom, but it's more just like, wanting to get rid of this fantasy. And I know that that idea will never be mainstream, no matter how hard I try, because people don't want to hear that. There's a reason why Love is Blind is the #1 show on Netflix. And that's just the reality of like, people want to live in the fantasy of life, period. And we want to we want to see things that escape from our real life. And I would love to think, you have all these like woo-woo spiritual teachers, and it's like the new earth and we're building the new earth. And I'm like, sure, maybe, but we're all still out here talking about Vanderpump Rules. I think we got a couple of ways to go. Okay. So have a seat with the girl who cans the peaches. I don't think we're there yet. And I would love to be. I would love for us to be there. But the reality is, like, there's so much more work to do. And that work begins with us. It's like, what is that? I think there's a song I used to sing at the Unity Church with my mom growing up, and it was like, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. That's the only part that I remember. Shout out, please, if you know what I'm talking about, please DM me or email me or find me, okay? But I think that was like the welcome song at Unity. Like, everybody would like shake hands and stuff. I think I'm remembering that correctly. But it's true of like all of these things that, like, especially so many people that are here are artists, are creatives, are passionate people, and it's like are doing this like work as healers or whatever in any iteration. And it's like we have to go back to the basics. And we have to go back to the basics, and we have to start with us. It has to start with us first. And we have to be okay to trek for a while on our own. And hopefully occasionally we see each other on the trail and we high five and we keep it moving. And we trust that the energy that we gain back, the vitality that we gain back from choosing our authenticity, of choosing to do things without the fanfare, and knowing that in our body, feeling inner peace is enough. That's it. I wish I could stick the landing for you, but that's it. That's it. That's all I got, That's it. Also, go check out that JLo documentary. Let me know what you think. Also, while you're at it, Taylor Swift. She made a pretty good one. You can go check out that one, and Selena Gomez. So there you go. You got 3 documentaries that you can watch over the weekend. You guys, this is the Rachel LaForce Show. I'm Rachel LaForce, and this is my show. This is all about healing that divide between culture and self-empowerment, affirmations, all of the things, but keeping it grounded, because why? Healing is hilarious. It's hilarious that I just recorded this by myself in my office, you know what I mean? And hoping that you guys are listening. That's funny. It's a little bit funny. If you were in the greater Atlanta area, guess what? You can come and see me. I am speaking at the Heart-Led Retreats. All of this will be in the show notes. You can come out and see me. That is March 16th. That's happening in Kennesaw, Georgia. It's a full day full of practitioners. It's exciting. It's going to be beautiful. All about getting heart-centered. I'm really excited to be speaking at that event. I'm also taping my half hour. I'm so excited to finally, this is like older jokes. I'm just so excited to get this up and out for you guys to see. It's so much fun. And then I'm going to start working on the next. So we are taping that March 23rd at Alley Stage in Marietta, Georgia. If you are around, if you know somebody who is, send them my way. I would absolutely love to do that. You can find all those tickets at rachellaforce.com. If you love this podcast, please check out the Misfit Light. It's a lot like this, but it is more concrete. Every Monday at 8:15 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, live right on Instagram. You can also watch the replay on all of social media, where any place that you can find me: TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Take your pick. I also create a free workbook that's available for you every single week. So it's a good way. It's a lot of the things we talk about here. That's not so much of a rant. It's actually kind of like a quick lesson in teaching. There's spaces for you to write down what comes up for you, your epiphanies, your notes, so you can really kind of whittle it down. Again, like I'm talking about getting back to the basics. That's an episode that's going to be coming out shortly. I'm also going to be doing a newsletter about it, and then we're talking about that in the Misfit Light right now. So it's a fun 4-part series. specificities. You can check that out. Also, I do Misfit Light energy readings. So this is a lot of taking these same tools and ideas, and it's really helping you uncover and reclaim your most unique misfit light so that you can begin to walk in your highest. It's a 90-minute reading. This is all about leaving you with clarity, with a sense of direction, some action steps, and really kind of helping shine that light, no pun intended. Where are you in the trail? Let's turn that flashlight on. Let's figure out where you're going. Let's pack your bag and let's get you on your way. Okay. If that sounds interesting to you, I would love to work with you. I really, really enjoy these readings. They're unique to every person because all of you are unique, and it is such a blessing and an honor to be able to do this with you all. You can go to rachelforce.com and book that for yourself. Everything else will be in the show notes. I'm probably even going to plug JLO because why not? You know what I mean? She put herself out on a limb. Anybody who's gonna go all in 30 mil on themselves, I'm fucking in. I'm watching what it is that you made. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all I got for you. I really hope that this episode touches your heart and really lands for you where it's supposed to. It was a blessing and a lesson and a reminder to myself just being able to offer it. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and stay out there, stay light. Love you, mean it.
Time, weather, and always.